In the previous episode, the battle between the demon race and the human race initially ended with a temporary advantage on the human side. However, the demon race refused to compromise and sought additional allies for support. Faced with this situation, Luo Fun contacted his teacher to ask for his help. On Earth in the human territory, Luo Fun returned through God Country transportation while Sitting Mountain Guest avoided entering the heavily guarded Primal Secret region. Luo Feng went to his palace in Yangzhou City and sensed his teacher's presence in a garden filled with exotic plants and animals. Where Sitting Mountain Guest was playing with a blue-feathered bird, Sitting Mountain Guest commented on the beauty of the garden and joked about needing power and followers if he were ever to become an alliance master. Luo Feng suggested joining the Han Alliance. But Sitting Mountain Guest pointed out that humans would never truly accept an outsider as their leader. He also stated he had no interest in joining the Han Alliance, especially when the human race was surrounded by enemies. Luo Feng asked his teacher to help the human race, but Sitting Mountain Guest firmly refused. He explained that Luo Feng had to walk his own path as a great being, and the fate of humanity had nothing to do with him, since Luo Feng already possessed the Star Tower and the Boat of Mausoleum. Sitting Mountain Guest believed Luo Feng was already safe enough in the original universe. Sitting Mountain Guest then revealed he had actually come because Luo Feng previously mentioned obtaining a drop of godly blood from an ancient civilization and wanted it forged into a true treasure. Luo Feng explained that the blood released a massive mental shock in all directions, and he hoped to focus that power into a single direction to make it deadlier. Sitting Mountain Guest reminded Luo Feng of their agreement that he would craft one true treasure for every universe master Luo Feng killed. Since Luo Feng had killed Demon Universe Master, he came to fulfill the promise. To avoid harming Earth's inhabitants, Luo Feng proposed moving into the space interlayers before revealing the blood. The two entered a spatial crack created by Sitting Mountain Guest and arrived among countless space fragments. Luo Feng summoned the Boat of Mausoleum and revealed the drop of godly blood, which emitted terrifying mind shocks. Sitting Mountain Guest easily withstood the pressure and analyzed the blood, noting that ordinary beings could not even approach or extract it. When Luo Feng asked whether it could become a true treasure, Sitting Mountain Guest explained that with enough materials and time, it could theoretically become a supreme true treasure, though the process would be difficult and likely fail. However, concentrating the mind shock into a specialized true treasure was much easier and would only require 3 days. And he would provide the materials himself. Luo Feng excitedly revealed he possessed 2 drops of godly blood and asked for 2 true treasures. But Sitting Mountain Guest refused, insisting that only one counted under their agreement. Luo Feng argued that he had captured and killed 3 universe masters during the battle. But Sitting Mountain Guest dismissed those kills because they had been accomplished using the primal universe origin rather than Luo Feng's own power. After Luo Feng reluctantly agreed, Sitting Mountain Guest stored the blood within his Green Mountain treasure and promised to return in 3 days with the completed true treasure. Before leaving, Luo Feng mentioned obtaining the inheritance of Duan Dong River. Sitting Mountain Guest immediately asked whether it contained methods for transcending incarnations under the original mind. But upon hearing it did not. He lost interest, stating that such knowledge was useless to beings already at the limit of universe supreme masters. He explained that experts like himself and Primal Chaos City Leader were stuck at the final bottleneck, and only Teacher Origin had truly reached that limit and might have transcended if not suppressed. Sitting Mountain Guest warned Luo Feng that many lone universe supreme masters, including the Old Beast God and the 3 ancestral gods, desperately sought transcendence and would covet such opportunities. Then described himself merely as an observer before disappearing into the space storms. Luo Feng remained on Earth waiting, and after 3 days, Sitting Mountain Guest returned with the newly crafted true treasure. Luo Feng sat in the garden holding a colorful crystal ball covered in halos that converged into an eyeball-like point. Sitting Mountain Guest refused to involve himself in the human race's war and left immediately after giving Luo Feng the treasure, telling him to seal his life imprint onto it and reminding him that forging another true treasure would require killing another universe master with even higher requirements in the future. Luo Feng infused his godly power into the crystal ball and sealed his imprint, discovering that it contained no informational inheritance, which he considered typical of treasures crafted by Sitting Mountain Guest. Despite this, it was easy to use. requiring only one layer of engravings and mental force through godly blood, allowing even a universe knight to control it. Luo Fun realized the core was a drop of blood from a great being of an ancient civilization and named it Ancient God Eye. Though difficult to classify, it possessed terrifying destructive power against universe masters and was even more important than supreme true treasures during a race war. After obtaining Ancient God Eye, Luo Fun returned to the primal secret region, where countless universe knights, undying fighters, and sector lords saluted him as horde leader. He sensed the tense atmosphere of the coming war, with many universe masters gathered around Primal Chaos City Leader's palace. Primal Chaos City Leader personally greeted Luo Fun, who explained that the godly blood had been transformed into a true treasure. Shocked and excited, Primal Chaos City Leader asked if Sitting Mountain Guest could be persuaded to help, but was not surprised by his refusal. Luo Fun then revealed the treasure's power. Previously even limit-level universe masters could resist the blood, but now only universe supreme masters could withstand it mentally. Realizing its immense value, Primal Chaos City Leader concluded that most universe masters would become ineffective and that the treasure could even allow capturing enemies, potentially changing the balance of the entire war. He urged Luo Feng to continue training and break through as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Luo Feng's avatar cultivated in an inheritance space where time flowed 10.000 times faster. Having reached the limit of gold and space laws and awaiting final inspiration to break through. At the same time, deep within the demon race territory, massive forces gathered as Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, the Bug Race Empress, and Father God of the Automaton race assembled with powerful universe masters. They planned a massive invasion, with the Bug Race Empress housing 80 universe masters in a supreme true treasure palace while the other races protected additional forces. Altogether, the coalition gathered 4 Universe Supreme Masters and 112 Universe Masters. Confident in overwhelming humanity, Father God declared victory inevitable and ordered the march. Back in the human territory, Luo Feng cultivated calmly, knowing breakthroughs could not be forced and might come during battle or sudden enlightenment. While training, he received a message from Primal Chaos City Leader ordering him to the main hall immediately. Realizing the war had finally arrived, and he teleported away at once. Around Primal Chaos City Leader's palace, numerous universe masters from different races were gathered and waiting. Although they knew the war was dangerous, they were willing to fight because if the human alliance succeeded in becoming the third Holy Land universe, their races would gain territory for their legacies and longer survival. They also hoped to receive part of the human race's experience regarding breakthroughs to Universe Supreme Master. Motivated by benefits for their races, all of them prepared themselves for the battle. Soon, Primal Chaos City Leader summoned all Universe Masters to the main hall. In a short time, over 90 Universe Masters gathered there. Standing at the front were Luo Feng in silver armor with silver wings, Peng Gong Master holding the Yan Jun Rod, and Darkness Master in black robes. Primal Chaos City Leader announced that the Demon Race, Bug Clan, and Automaton Race had joined forces to attack because none of them dared to challenge humanity alone after previously losing 6 Universe Masters to the humans. He explained that according to the original plan, all participating Universe Masters except Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Peng Gong Master would enter the Supreme True Treasure Black Prison Tower. Darkness Master summoned Black Prison Tower, which expanded into a giant black pyramid with multiple entrances. Human Universe Masters entered first, followed by the allied Universe Masters from other races. Eventually, only Primal Chaos City Leader, Luo Feng, Darkness Master, Peng Gong Master, and the Black Prison Tower remained in the hall. Primal Chaos City Leader informed Darkness Master that 91 Universe Masters would be under his command inside Black Prison Tower, including 21 from the Han Alliance and 70 new allied Universe Masters. Darkness Master would organize their attacks and defenses. Since he controlled Black Prison Tower, he could imprison anyone permanently if they attempted betrayal. To ensure loyalty, only 70 of the 92 allied Universe Masters participated in the war while the remaining 22 stayed behind in the original universe as hostages to guarantee their race's cooperation. Primal Chaos City Leader then entrusted Luo Feng and Peng Gong Master with the remaining tasks. Luo Feng summoned the Boat of Mausoleum, and together with Peng Gong Master, entered it. Black Prison Tower and the Boat of Mausoleum then teleported to the headquarters of the virtual universe to wait for the enemy. The headquarters of the virtual universe and the primal secret region were both vital human strongholds connected to the primal universe. The humans predicted that the enemy would attack one of these two locations. So both had stable God country passageways prepared for quick retreats if necessary. While waiting above the headquarters of the virtual universe, Luo Fun admitted to Peng Gong Master that he felt nervous. He explained that although some scattered races had joined humanity, others had joined the enemy alliance. The enemy side possessed 4 Universe Supreme Masters, all stronger than ordinary Universe Masters because they could fully display 6th-tier combat power under the suppression of the primal universe while simultaneously multitasking in combat. Luo Feng especially feared Father God of the Automaton race and the Bug race Empress, who were stronger than Shock Demon Ancestor and Dream Demon Ancestor and excelled at group battles with mysterious techniques. Soon, Primal Chaos City leader sent coordinates indicating that the united force of the 3 races had arrived nearby through God Country transportation. Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Peng Gong Master immediately teleported toward the destination. At a remote region filled with lonely desert planets and a dying star, the allied force of the Demon race, Bug Clan, and Automaton race had already assembled. Their forces included a gigantic purple sphere, an ancient vessel, and a black oval-shaped object, all radiating terrifying pressure that distorted time and space. Moments later, the Boat of Mausoleum and Black Prison Tower arrived. The united force of the 3 races and the human camp finally confronted each other in the void space. A beautiful figure flew out of the giant purple oval, while 2 giant beings emerged from the ancient ship. Though the black oval remained motionless, the auras of the 3 Universe Supreme Masters twisted space and time, causing distant planets and stars to explode like fireworks. On the human side, the door of Boat of Mausoleum opened, and 2 figures flew out to stand atop it. Luo Feng activated the combined domains of Golden Country and Snow Sand Ocean, covering 10 square light years. Since the alliance of the 3 races lacked a domain-type Supreme True Treasure, they could not resist the suppression. Peng Gong Master mocked Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, and Bug Empress, saying that Bug Empress was known for hiding inside Empress Hive during battles in Universe Ocean. Luo Feng joined in, joking that Bug Empress was indeed afraid of death, but since attacks in the original universe were capped at top-tier level 6, she had no fear of dying there. The human side continued taunting the United Alliance, while Luo Feng's domain prevented the opposing side's voices from spreading. Peng Gong Master then mocked Father God for hiding inside the black oval and joked that he must be too ugly to reveal himself. The United Alliance became furious, especially Father God, whose pride as the ruler of the Automaton race was deeply insulted. Unable to answer verbally because of Luo Feng's domain suppression, Father God responded with force. A total of 10.081 metal puppets rushed out from the black oval. Each puppet was around 10.000 kilometers tall, with 8 arms, 2 legs, and braided hair. Peng Gong Master was shocked because Father God usually deployed at most 9.000 puppets in Universe Ocean. Luo Feng explained that Father God dared to use all of them in the original universe because the power limit there prevented the puppets from being destroyed easily. In Universe Ocean, he risked losing them in combat. Luo Feng realized the puppet army was based on primitive machine-type group techniques from ancient civilizations. Compared to true ancient civilization machine types, Father God's methods were crude, relying on quantity instead of supreme individual machines like Boat of Mausoleum or Universe Boat. However, because Father God was an intelligent life form with incredible calculation ability, he could perfectly control the group technique. Luo Feng also recognized that the puppets were forged from extremely valuable materials comparable to pinnacle true treasures, and together they were worth as much as a supreme true treasure. They could neither be broken nor swallowed by treasures like Star Tower or Black Prison Tower because they acted as one unit under Father God's control. Luo Feng suggested retreating into the Dark Universe, and Peng Gong Master and Darkness Master agreed. Boat of Mausoleum and Black Prison Tower accelerated to light speed and entered the Dark Universe. Shock Demon Ancestor immediately ordered pursuit. Inside the Dark Universe, the human side gained an advantage because Universe Supreme Masters could travel many times faster than light. Whereas the humans lacked supreme masters and needed flexibility to escape or re-enter the original universe. Less than a second later, the puppet army entered the dark universe as well. The puppets roared as Father God controlled them simultaneously with his unparalleled calculation ability. Artificial life forms naturally possessed extraordinary calculation power. And Father God's control ability surpassed other universe supreme masters by a huge margin. The 10.081 puppets split into two groups and attacked Luo Fun and Peng Gong Master. Around 5.000 puppets struck Luo Fun at nearly the same instant. Perfectly combining their attacks, Luo Feng did not dare resist directly despite wearing crazy demon extermination godly armor because his godly body was much weaker than a top-tier universe master's. He used Blood Shadow Blade to enlarge and block the attacks. Peng Gong Master defended with Yan Jun Rod, which transformed into armor comparable to crazy demon extermination godly armor. Because Peng Gong Master had a 10.000 times life gene level, his defense was even stronger than Luo Feng's. After enduring the attacks, Peng Gong Master noted that the power was strong but still within expectations. Luo Feng explained that the puppet attacks had not yet reached true top-tier level 6 power because the original universe suppressed them. Only if all puppets combined perfectly could Father God fully unleash that level of strength. Peng Gong Master was relieved to learn that the group technique still had limitations under the suppression of the original universe. Father God was frustrated because the original universe suppressed the power of his puppets, preventing them from reaching the strength they would have in Universe Ocean. According to the plan, he intended to deal with Darkness Master and Peng Gong Master first. But since Darkness Master hid inside Black Prison Tower, he focused on trapping Luo Feng and Peng Gong Master instead. The puppet army surrounded them like a spider web, making escape impossible despite their attacks with Blood Shadow Blade and Yan Jun Rod. Father God then ordered Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, and Bug Empress to beware of Black Prison Tower and commanded the other Universe Masters to attack Luo Feng and Peng Gong Master together. A giant abyss appeared from Empress Palace, while the Black Oval also opened, revealing Universe Masters from the Bug Race, Automaton Race, and allied races, a total of 112 Universe Masters, with more than 120 godly bodies due to multiple incarnations. Launched a simultaneous attack using true treasures, illusion techniques, soul attacks, material attacks, puppets, and combined techniques. The scale of the attack shocked everyone, including the Universe Supreme Masters. Luo Feng and Peng Gong Master realized they could not withstand it and urgently called Darkness Master for help. At the same time, Black Prison Tower opened and revealed 91 Universe Masters and over 100 godly bodies from the Human Alliance. Darkness Master ordered them to attack the enemy forces near Empress Palace. Although the two camps were far apart in the original universe, they were close in the Dark Universe, allowing the attacks from the United Forces Alliance to quickly reach Luo Feng and Peng Gong Master. Realizing they could not resist directly, Luo Feng summoned Boat of Mausoleum in front of them to block the attacks. Massive bombardments struck the boat continuously, while some soul and illusion attacks still bypassed the defense and affected Luo Feng and Peng Gong Master. Luo Feng felt tremendous pressure despite the protection of Crazy Demon Extermination godly armor and a pinnacle soul true treasure. He understood that over 100 Universe Masters combining their power created attacks approaching level 8 strength, far beyond what they could face directly. Luo Feng then opened the door of Boat of Mausoleum and entered together with Peng Gong Master. From inside the palace, they observed the ongoing battle while remaining protected. Meanwhile, the Human Alliance launched counterattacks against Empress Palace and the enemy Universe Masters. Father God ordered everyone to resist the incoming attacks. Dream Demon Ancestor transformed into a gigantic silver snake and used her supreme true treasure armor to shield Empress Palace. Father God, and Shock Demon Ancestor. The combined attacks from the human side struck her directly, causing her to be blasted backward along with Empress Palace and Father God. However, because of her supreme true treasure armor and powerful godly body, she remained unharmed despite being repelled. Afterward, both sides launched continuous attacks against each other. Empress Palace activated its swallowing power to absorb the human Universe Masters and Black Prison Tower, while Black Prison Tower also unleashed its own swallowing power against the enemy forces and Empress Palace. The two supreme true treasure palaces confronted each other directly, each attempting to swallow the other. However, because both were supreme true treasures controlled by equally powerful masters, Darkness Master and Bug Empress at the same level, neither side could overpower the other. The simultaneous eruption of the palace-type supreme true treasures, Black Prison Tower and Empress Palace, released terrifying gravitational force, causing both camps of universe masters to engage in a chaotic and violent battle. The united force of the three races had 112 universe masters. And with additional bodies included, their total number of godly bodies exceeded 120. The human camp originally had 92 universe masters, including Darkness Master, and with extra bodies added, their total exceeded 100. With over 100 godly bodies from each side attacking simultaneously, the energy levels continuously expanded and changed. Their attacks nearly reached the 8th tier, while Universe Supreme Masters were limited to 6th tier power within the primal universe. Any being struck directly could be blasted far away by the impact. The Universe Masters on both sides became extremely excited, unleashing attacks wildly and enjoying the overwhelming power created by their combined forces. The simultaneous attacks of over 100 godly bodies formed a massive energy domain covering a million kilometers. Any godly power attack, soul attack, or illusion attack entering the energy domain would be rapidly worn away before reaching its targets. The Universe Masters realized that with such combined power, even Universe Supreme Masters seemed insignificant, and top-tier true treasures could potentially be shattered by their attacks. One example was a top-tier true treasure blade from the United Force that was instantly reduced to dust after colliding with the energy domain. Both camps fought fiercely, but most attacks were exhausted by the surrounding energy domains before reaching their targets. Some attacks managed to enter the opposing domain but were eventually worn down there as well. Since the human camp had fewer godly bodies than the united force of the three races, they focused mainly on defense rather than offense, believing that as long as their defense held, they could survive. Father God of the automaton race believed Luo Fun and Peng Gong Master were hiding inside the boat of Mausoleum out of fear. He proposed changing tactics by targeting the human universe masters directly. Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, the Empress of the Bug Clan, and Father God agreed to personally join the attacks, believing their combined strength would surpass the 8th tier and ensure victory. Thousands of automaton puppets surrounding the boat of Mausoleum launched combined arc-shaped energy attacks toward Black Prison Tower. Shock Demon Ancestor unleashed a Dark Storm attack. Dream Demon Ancestor fired a Cyan Shadow attack, and the Empress Palace released dazzling golden light. The simultaneous attacks of the four Universe Supreme Masters raised the overall power from the equivalent of 120 godly bodies to 160 godly bodies, surpassing the 8th tier energy level entirely. Under this overwhelming assault, the human camp's energy domain shrank to only 1/10 of its previous size. The attacks of the united force became so strong that the human universe masters could barely launch attacks of their own and were forced into constant defense. The humans realized that if even a small flaw appeared in their defenses, the enemy's attacks would flood in and annihilate their universe masters. The humans understood that continued defense would rapidly consume their godly bodies. Once enough godly power was lost, their combat strength would collapse exponentially. Meanwhile, the united force had the support of four Universe Supreme Masters who could maintain high-level combat power indefinitely. The human camp became increasingly desperate. Inside the boat of Mausoleum, Luo Fun and Peng Gong Master watched the battle unfold. Darkness Master urgently transmitted messages demanding they join the fight before disaster struck. Peng Gong initially argued that the battle had only just begun and their forces had not yet suffered major losses. But Darkness Master insisted that the enemy attacks were already too overwhelming and asked Luo Fun when he intended to counterattack. Luo Fun finally decided to enter the battlefield with Peng Gong Master. The boat of Mausoleum accelerated rapidly toward the united force of the three races. The automaton puppets did not dare obstruct it, and Father God immediately stopped using the puppet army to attack it directly. Instead, he instructed the other three Supreme Masters to continue attacking the human universe masters while he dealt with Luo Fun and Peng Gong. As the boat of Mausoleum approached the black sphere of the automaton race, it suddenly disappeared, and Luo Fun and Peng Gong appeared in midair. They launched attacks immediately, Luo Fun wielded Blood Ghost Blade, enlarging it to over 100 million kilometers long before slashing toward Shock Demon Ancestor and Dream Demon Ancestor. Peng Gong Master enlarged Yan Jun Rod and thrust it toward Empress Palace. However, Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, and the Empress ignored their attacks and continued focusing on attacking the human Universe Masters. 6th-tier attacks could not truly injure Universe Supreme Masters and could at most knock them back slightly. Shock Demon Ancestor told Father God to stop bothering with Luo Fun and Peng Gong, since their attacks posed no real threat. The Empress agreed, believing the human Universe Masters were already close to collapse and victory was inevitable. Father God decided to ignore Luo Fun and Peng Gong as well. Luo Fun and Peng Gong became anxious and furious. But there was little they could do because the primal universe suppressed attack power but not defensive abilities. Darkness Master continued warning them that the human Universe Masters were rapidly exhausting themselves merely by defending. Peng Gong admitted that the 4 Supreme Masters were too cautious and refused to abandon their attacks on the human camp, making it almost impossible to capture all the enemy Universe Masters in one move. Luo Fun realized that the Universe Masters of the United Force were divided among 3 locations: 80 within Empress Palace, 16 within the Demon Vessel, and 16 within Father God's Black Sphere. Although they could only estimate the numbers, it was clear enough for planning. Luo Fun had originally intended to wipe out all the Universe Masters protected by the Demon Ancestors and Father God. But the situation had become too dangerous. Finally, through gritted teeth, Luo Fun decided to launch a counterattack immediately, fearing that otherwise the humans would not only lose but suffer a crushing defeat.